You've been picturing the 4680 battery as Tesla's quiet failure, the cell that got a huge stage reveal in 2020 and then vanished into a truck most people will never drive. You know the Cybertruck exists. You've seen it on the road maybe once or twice, an angular oddity that's polarizing at best. If that's the only home this battery ever found, then the whole promise from Battery Day quietly died in a niche vehicle nobody bought in volume. Except that's not where this cell just showed up. It's now sitting inside the single best-selling car on the planet, the one that pays Tesla's bills every single quarter. That detail changes the entire story. Keep watching, because while the world's been watching self-driving cars and rockets that land themselves, Tesla has been fighting a completely different war, one fought at the molecular level, inside a small metal can almost nobody talks about. It explains why your next car will almost certainly be electric, for a reason you've probably never heard. It's a story of world-changing promises, brutal manufacturing realities, and a bet that pushed Tesla to the brink. Not autopilot, not Optimus, the 4680 battery cell. Its journey from a triumphant announcement to a production nightmare, and now a hard-won victory, tells you everything about the future of energy and transportation. Everyone assumes Tesla's magic lives in its software. They're looking in the wrong place. The real revolution, the one meant to make electric cars affordable for everyone, is hidden inside the battery, a project that promised faster charging, 16% more range, and dramatically lower costs. To understand the challenge, you first have to understand the dream. Rewind to September 2020. Tesla's Battery Day. Not a product launch, a declaration of war on the two problems holding EVs back. For years, you could have range and affordability, but rarely both. The bottleneck was the cell itself. Tesla's old 2170 cell, roughly the size of a fat AA battery, worked, but a single Model Y needs over 4,000 of them, each one manufactured, tested, and wired into a complex web of pumps and cooling lines. Every connection adds weight, complexity, and cost. On that stage, Musk and Drew Baglino didn't propose a small step. They unveiled a full reinvention centered on a bigger format, the 4680. 46 millimeters wide, 80 tall. The first idea was almost obvious. Bigger cell, fewer of them needed, fewer parts, fewer failure points. But the real genius was hidden inside, a tabless design. In a normal battery, two long sheets of material are rolled like a jelly roll with a single tiny metal tab attached to carry all the current out, a 6-lane highway squeezing down to a single dirt road. That bottleneck creates resistance. Resistance creates heat, and heat is a battery's worst enemy. It limits charge speed, power output, and long-term degradation. The 4680's tabless design used the entire edge of the coiled sheet as contact instead of one tiny tab, shrinking the electron's path from around 250 millimeters down to just 50. The claimed results were staggering: 6 times the power output, dramatically less heat, and a huge unlock for fast charging, plus 5 times more energy per cell, translating to roughly 16% more range without a bigger pack. A 300-mile car becomes a 350-mile car. The manufacturing plan behind it was just as ambitious: dry-electrode coating. The old way mixes active material into a toxic liquid slurry, paints it onto foil, then bakes it in massive ovens, a slow and environmentally brutal process. Tesla's acquisition of Maxwell Technologies gave them a dry process instead, applying powder directly to foil like a printing press. No solvents, no ovens, a smaller factory footprint. Then it all converged in the structural battery pack. Instead of dropping a battery into a finished car, the battery itself becomes the car's frame, cutting parts, weight, and stiffening the whole structure. Added up, and Tesla promised a 56% cost reduction per kilowatt hour, alongside a 54% range increase, the key that was supposed to unlock the Cybertruck, the Semi, and the long-promised affordable car we now know as the Cybercab. Then, reality hit. The years after Battery Day were defined by a painful gap between the promise and the production line. The dry-electrode process, in Musk's own words, became production hell. Laying a microscopic layer of powder onto foil at high speed with perfect uniformity was one thing in a lab and an entirely different fight on a line running at scale. Yield, the percentage of usable cells, lagged for years, especially on the cathode side, the more complex and expensive half of the process. But Tesla kept iterating, and by early 2026, the company reported it had largely cracked the code, stable yields above 90% on the dry coating lines. The slow ramp rippled through the supply chain. A $2.9 billion cathode materials deal signed with South Korea's LNF in 2023 was dramatically rescaled in late 2025, not a collapse, but a plan adapting to a more realistic, phased pace. While the Cybercab points at the future, Tesla's present-day dominance still runs through the Model Y. In 2023, it became the single best-selling car model on Earth, EV or otherwise, a moment that shook the entire industry, even as legacy nameplates like the RAV4 and Corolla have since fought their way back toward the top of the sales charts. The competition is still chasing that 2023 moment. Project Juniper is Tesla's answer to being caught. Not a facelift, but a stem-to-stern overhaul, borrowing the sharper design language and cleaner interior of the Model 3 refresh, alongside real quality-of-life upgrades like ventilated seats and ambient lighting that addressed some of the only real complaints owners had. The changes you can't see matter more. The shift to a 48-volt low-voltage system cuts a huge portion of the car's total wiring, saving weight and cost in a way other automakers have talked about for years without ever committing to it. Tesla just did it. The refreshed lineup continues to offer standard and long-range trims, with ranges reportedly topping 327 miles, riding an expanding V4 supercharger network aiming for 350 kilowatts, adding hundreds of miles of range in the time it takes to grab a coffee. For Ford, Hyundai, and Volkswagen, the timing is close to a nightmare. They're only now building credible answers to the outgoing Model Y, and they're about to face a version that's sharper, more premium, more efficient, and cheaper for Tesla to build than the one they've been benchmarking against. The Cybercab and the refreshed Model Y are only the visible edge of a much larger ecosystem. At the center of it sits Tesla's custom AI silicon, the brain behind both full self-driving and the Optimus robot, with a next-generation chip once expected to arrive by the second half of this year. Behind that brain sits the workforce Tesla is quietly building for itself. Optimus, the humanoid robot meant to eventually staff the factory floor, running on the same fundamental intelligence that teaches a car to read a chaotic road. And beneath both of those sits the physical layer, the 48-volt architecture reshaping how every future Tesla is wired, and the 4680 structural battery cells simplifying manufacturing while improving both weight and safety. Put together, that's the real picture. Tesla isn't only a car company anymore. It's a silicon designer, a robotics company, a software developer, and an energy company operating under one badge, which is exactly why the story doesn't end where the original plan said it would. Because here's where the timeline split. The Cybercab promise, the one that sounded the most like science fiction, is the one that actually landed on schedule. First units rolling off the line at Giga Texas in February, continuous production underway by spring, and by summer, more than 100 finished units sitting in the lot waiting on the one piece that isn't finished yet. Fully unsupervised driving, still openly targeted for later this year rather than already delivered. Project Juniper, the Model Y overhaul, didn't just arrive on schedule, it arrived early, already out in driveways and being reviewed on real roads well before the timeline anyone expected. And the next-generation AI chip, the one meant to arrive by the second half of this year and unlock the next leap in capability, has quietly slipped to sometime in 2027. Two promises kept, one pushed back, and that's the detail legacy automakers should be paying closest attention to. Because Tesla didn't need the delayed chip to start putting real driverless-capable hardware into a parking lot months ahead of anyone's expectations. So, while the rest of the industry is still trying to make its first generation of EVs profitable, Tesla is already several moves into its second, not defined by any single car, but the ecosystem quietly assembling itself around all of them. A future where owning a car in a city becomes a choice instead of a necessity. Sitting right now in a lot in Texas, one unfinished piece of software away from changing what that choice even means. Which move do you think actually threatens the legacy auto industry the most? Comment below and I'll read the best ones. If you want the full story before the software catches up to the hardware, subscribe to Dravexa now.